All right, what's up, guys? MTG Game State. We have kind of a big one. We're gonna be talking about the commander bannings, all catching up on that. I'm gonna give you the best summary I can, and I just have some pretty low-key market hits that maybe you're not talking about today. So let's get into it. I mean, there's really just not much else to say. We just gotta get into it. All right, what's up, guys? For real, like, this commander banning stuff is pretty crazy out of nowhere. The rules committee, and we're gonna catch you all on up. The rules committee just straight up banned Dockside Extortionist, Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt, and Nadu Winged Wisdom. Now, the commander rules committee is in charge of these are just volunteered people. These are just regular Joe Schmo people. They are people who are obviously, yes, voices and faces of Magic in some form on like a creator level or in the scene of card organizing. But other than that, they're just volunteered people. Commander is not owned by Wizards of the Coast. It's a fan-made format, so of course its own rules committee is going to be organized of fan-based organizers as well. They had made the decision to ban, again, Dockside Extortionist, which I didn't like, so go ahead and ban it. Jeweled Lotus, which is kind of weird because it was made for the format Commander only. Mana Crypt, which is weird because, again, it has history of being printed only as a promo in a book in the 90s. They gave sick reprints to it pretty recently, Double Masters and Mystery Boosters, as well as Journey into Ixalan, the Return to Ixalan basically set. So it's kind of weird banning this card in Commander when it already was good mana ramp, has history, and is kind of a premium card. Nadu just needed to go. We already knew that. If you followed my Pro Tour coverage on stream, you saw that this card got pretty out of hand. Just needed to go in all formats. So nothing too crazy there. So this happened, and this shocked the whole world, because then everyone's like, well, what about Soul Ring? That implies that we have to ban fast mana, because the casual format of Commander realistically turned into a more faster turn 4, turn 5 ending game wins, turn 1, turn 2 even ending game wins, even if it's not in a competitive EDH format, which is kind of what happened, where the competitive scene merged into the basically tabletop kitchen table scene, and just kind of different minds melded, and a lot of cards that were broken and not really play tested in my opinion. It just got injected outside of Mana Crypt, just got injected into the format that we just should have handled better. Now, that being said, the rules committee ended up, everyone basically left all their posts. There's a lot of people who were not really happy about the bannings, and I guess we have recent news from my article source. Will be on YouTube in the description, but we won't talk about it right here on visuals. But basically on MTG Rocks, I saw that the rules committee was even told by Wizards not to move forward with these bannings. So there's some members of the rules committee who were split and said that we don't, and I know I'm saying RC a lot, but the RC and another group of volunteers who were kind of like a subcommittee under the RC all said we don't want any of this bannings, but people went through with it anyways. They still took their votes and just did what they had to do. A lot of bad stuff happened from that, so because of that, past week has been tumultuous for Commander. This is off Wizards of the Coast website, Magic the Gathering, September 30th, 2024. Today is October 4th. So this past week has been tumultuous for Commander fans, members of the Commander Rules Committee, and Magic community as a whole along the way. We've seen players and fans share a diverse range of passionate opinions, far too many of which were harmful or malicious. It is true. Sometimes we get toxic in the fandom. Unfortunately, there's some death threats against some people in the Rules Committee. I don't really like that. I don't condone that. I think toxic behavior is kind of, negative behavior in general is not what we want to display in any fandom. Even if we go through emotions and have how we feel, a lot of the time it's mostly people reacting from other things in their life and channeling it. So it's just something people need to behave better and give better examples on how to be community. So anyways, I'm not gonna get too hard into that. Basically, that's just what this article is summing up, because that's basically saying, today in partnership with members of the existing Rules Committee, we're announcing that the Rules Committee is giving management of the Commander format to the game design team of Wizards of the Coast. That's basically what's going on here. So, Rules Committee is now the game design of the cards. The fans are kind of mistrusting of this right now because they felt Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro are kind of the people who put us in this mess with the bannings and getting rid of money cards and stuff and giving us cards that are broken and pushed and not tested, wallet fatigue and all that. I think still, again, and I know we're the punk rock format where we need to run it ourselves. I think having the game design team, specifically the members who are a part of the game design team, like Gavin Verhey, are good people, trusted people in the community, whether they're employees of Wizards or not. They're just people who listen and have vocal ability to communicate to everybody and have professional organizing in some way, even on a clerical level. I don't know. I do give the rules committee shit, or the game design team, a bit of shit in that I know that we've been told that cards weren't really play tested as much as when they got injected into the formats that they are in once they got printed. But it's no one's fault. It's just the way business and money and cards work. It is what it is. We can move on, and that's what we're doing. And we're having a next step forward, and I think this will be good because this will combine a lot of the digital scene too for what Wizards of the Coast and Magic is trying to do. They communicate a lot on their Twitch TV and YouTube side on the lives. And I think these people who are usually doing that on the regular, when I see them, they're also going to be in charge of the rules of Commander. I think that's good, okay? Whatever. While this is still very early, we do want to share one thing. We've just started working on, with the Rules Committee, a more objective approach to the deck power level and additional guidance and shared language for players to find games that match the type of game they're trying to play. So basically, the boys come up with a new design. Gavin Verhey right here. I believe Aaron Forsyth is also on the design team. And Blake Rasmussen might also be on the design team as well. But these are usually the faces I see when they're doing announcements on the weekly MTG, Twitch, and YouTube. But generally, and we'll have a clashing of voices and sounds here. These guys here, we're basically just talking about state of what Gavin wants to do, what his expectations on handling the format are, and what the design team will do moving forward. And by MagicCon in this month of October in Las Vegas, they want to announce how they're going to handle more of the tiered bracket system of classing cards in Commander on a scale of 1 to 4. 4 being the lowest tier, 1 being the highest tier, and that's kind of cards that 4 tier, even though it's low, those are cards that could slot in any deck maybe, where 1 tier is cards that really are niche and need to be put in higher power specific builds with archetypes. I think Commander is finding its balance between the levels of balance that we use power levels on, and Gavin is kind of honing in on how to at least put a bracket on that. Similar to, and I know this is the Magic show, but similar to Marvel Snap, I think, with the pools and the tiers of each card. So those are the boys just talking about it. Now, another thing, if you go to the command zone, all these videos, if you want to watch the full, will be in the link in the description. I just want to briefly touch on them because these are some of the players and the people involved. These, Josh Lee Kwai was part of the Rules Committee. He felt blindsided by the bannings. He wasn't told about any of this. He wasn't even told even when we as a community have asked for these bannings, or at least letting us know ahead of time of red flag of anything ahead of time. These guys would be able to communicate it to us. But he felt a little bit slighted, so he left the Rules Committee, and that's also basically why the RC ended up kind of breaking down. People were getting uncomfortable with how the leadership was being handled and how the community was handling the leadership. So I think this is just a natural thing. It's a little bit dramatic because we get dramatic in the Magic community, but this is a natural, good thing, okay? I'm going to have all the videos in the description, so if you really want to get into the drama and the tea, it'll all be there. I just want to give as best of a quick smoke pack summary for you, because it is the MTG Game State show, and Commander is our usual format that we run here on the show. Now, let's get into the good shit, damn it. We're here for the things you want to know about, and that is the market wash. That's right, plop dumps. I'm losing all my buttons here. So, I want to get on first card of the stream, of the show. This is all purely done off my research today. Hissing Miasma. This is a 3-drop enchantment in black, and I think this is going to be really good. I think it's not used in the 60-card formats. Legal and Legacy, Modern, Vintage, and Commander. 1 and 2 black enchantment. When a creature attacks you, its controller loses a life. Already, this is good. You could stack this. It's 3, so it's going to work with, pardon me, it's going to work with Obosh. It's got a wolf on it. Really cheap average listing I'm seeing for $1.30. Market's buying at $3.36. So the market's trying to buy high. People are buying low. So it seems like people are buying on the high side right away and leaving the low cost cards right there. Very interesting. And it's from Guild Pack, which is kind of an older set. It's not reprinted. I don't really know when it could be reprinted. It'd be weird if it was. But I think a pip for opponents attacking you is a nice, annoying card, and you could double that up somehow very easily. Cheap card. Want to put that on the radar for you. Now, moving on, card number 2. Sunscour. Again, card on the radar. This isn't being used in Death and Taxes in a 60-card modern format. It's alternative casting cost. It's a 5. It's a 6/7 cost, 5 and 2 white. It's sorcery speed. You may exile 2 white cards from your hand rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Again, we love seeing alternative casting costs. Destroy all creatures. I think it's from Cold Snap, so it demands kind of a high price when we get into it. I think this is just an old card that can still be used as a board wipe in white for modern, and especially in the Death and Taxes archetype that might need something like that. That's not necessarily wanting you to pay mana. We love alternative casting costs, and white usually has some funky ones. Now, on my finance, I'm seeing this average listed on TCG Player at $6.33. Even now, I'm seeing it's been lowered $5.62, but the market's buying at $2.43. So people are trying to get this card ASAP. We could round it up to $3 on Card Kingdom. It's from Cold Snap. It's old Magic card set. Alternative casting costs, and you can destroy it. That's all I got for you, okay? Now, moving on to card number 3, Penance. It's 3-drop enchantment, and I've seen the MTG Pack Boys division use this card. It's from Exodus. It's an old set card. Put a card from your hand on top of your library. The next time a black or red source of your choice would deal damage this turn, prevent that damage. I think it's going to be good in EDH. I've seen it used against me before. It has a place. It prevents damage, and it targets black and red sources, which is always real nice. Gets to bully them. Charity, thank you for the follow. Average listing, $9.95. Market's buying at $7.57. Let's see if anything's changed here on the finance side. Nothing really. Average listing is going down to at least $9 even. Market's buying at $6. Let's round up. It's just an old Exodus card that targets red and black. I think it's just interesting. And it's an enchantment in white. There's a lot of good cards that care about enchantments right now, so you can use this as a good tech piece. For show. All right, now, moving on. Honorable mention, and this, guys, I'm sounding the alarm on this because I was typing sounding the alarm. The card is Reduce to Dreams. Now, I was talking to Hida about this on the pre-show before we went live. This was a funny card I wanted to highlight for you guys. It's a 5-drop sorcery, 3 and 2 blue. Return all artifacts and enchantments to their owner's hands. It's not being used in anything. Average listing is 67 cents. Market's buying at 62 cents. It's from Kamigawa, the original block. Betrayers of Kamigawa, bulk rare and sorcery speed. But it's doing what you need it to do. Get rid of those artifacts and enchantments, even if they're your own, but it hits your opponents where it hurts. I think this card is going to be good in Commander. I think it's a good spec card. I'm sounding the alarm on it. And that's really it. It's for our Market Watch and just MTG Game State in general. I don't really like to talk about things where it gets dramatic and emotional in the MTG community. We try to highlight more about market finance and then just kind of gameplay and cards being used. But it's kind of come to a point in Commander's life cycle where something needs to happen where it can work in how healthy relationship more with the official people who print the cards too, while still being the punk fan organized format. I think we just need Dad to come in and organize a bit of the mess that we have. We'll have more information from this new rules committee with Gavin and everyone of the design team come around Magic Con, if not a bit after, about, again, the tier system and what the rulings and bannings moving forward will be. Maybe even some reversals. So stick around, guys. Stick around for later in October for that. We'll, of course, be catching up with that. That is MTG Game State, guys. Follow around in the YouTube for all the videos we've shared here today and the articles if you want to really get into it. Appreciate your support. Smoke Pack signing out.